Greetings, my friends. It is I, Aaron Pine, the Elven Wizard, here to talk to you about the process of incarnating here into this realm of Earth, and why you lose some of your true essence. Why you go into this sort of what many call veil of forgetfulness, where you can't remember who you truly are, your previous lives and incarnations, and why you're sort of stuck here in this experience in the realm of Earth. So let's dive in and help open up some new understanding and wisdom around this from my experience and what I've learned and seen. So let's dive in. Now, I love to use analogies, so I want you to imagine a beautiful jar of delicious honey. if you know me, you know I love honey and meat, of course. So let's imagine that beautiful jar of honey is your soul essence, right? And then you've got this lovely cup of coffee or tea, whatever your preference is. The jar of honey is your soul. This is your experience into one life. Is in this jar. We're going to say it's coffee, your cup of coffee here. Now, of course, you take your honey and you only put a little bit of that honey into the cup. You know, maybe a spoonful, if you will. That's a bit of your soul essence coming down into the cup of coffee. Now, you know you're going to need some of that soul essence, some of that honey, for the other cups of coffee you might have in the future, or the cups of coffee you had in the past, right? Your different incarnations, if you will. Now, that drop of honey comes down in here, and I don't really have a good analogy for it in this circumstance, but right, your soul comes into the body, comes into this physical life, and of course, for many of us, it experiences various intense, many times unpleasant situations. This causes sometimes the soul to retract a bit and be a little more timid about fully coming in. Kind of like stepping into a freezing cold river. You some jump in, but oftentimes, right, you kind of tiptoe in. So some of that honey may slowly come in or not even come in at all, because of that trauma, right? That intensity, the painful experiences. This process of the soul merging into the physical body often happens over many years. I mean, there's through the 10 months of being pregnant, of being in the womb, and then the years of childhood. Slowly that soul comes in more and more, and it gets basically inundated, right? Like a drop of honey coming into some hot coffee. It gets surrounded by the experiences of life, the imprinting of life, the cultural imprintations, the family imprinting, the ancestral imprinting, right? All this stuff kind of comes in and wraps around that bit of soul essence, oftentimes blocking it or locking it up or causing it to get intense and basically sort of cut it off from all of itself. And you can sort of see this in children, right? Many children have a certain tap into their spirit, into the imaginative realms, into the spirit realms, some more than others, but often it's there, and then right over the years it gets kind of condensed and cut off. Part of that's cultural programming, part of that is the development of the self into this world, but that also blocks that connection to the rest of the honey. Now, some of you maybe have started doing this healing work where you're opening yourself up, you're tapping into your spirit, your higher self, or as I prefer to call it, your avatar, and also maybe traversing into other lifetimes and reconnecting with that. So your bit of honey here in this cup of coffee in the current modern day is hopping over to those other cups of coffee and seeing what's going on in them, and then also going back to the jar, right? The original coffee, your soul essence, and seeing what's there and starting to bring that all together, to merge all that honey back into its full wondrous jar of your soul essence and discover its full potential, and then start to import that full jar of honey into this life and put off its sweetness into this one cup of coffee. Now, that's a process, and that's where I invite everyone to check out and discover your avatar, which you can do through my innerrealmsjourney.com program, where you'll get to be guided through a fun meditation back to your avatar form. And your avatar form is that mythical self, that higher self, the jar of honey, as I'm referencing here. Mine, of course, is the Elven Wizard. It's this mythical concept that allows me to step outside of the human story, right, of Aaron Pine and my years of experience here in the realm of Earth and go into this higher mythical, expanded understanding, perspective, persona that is more aligned with my full soul, and then bring that forth and let that merge in to the physical, merge into the Aaron Pine, and expand the Aaron Pine to do things that Aaron Pine might not have been able to do on his own, right? It gives me a larger framework, a larger resources, inner resources to access and expand myself into the world. And most people are playing that little blob of honey that's been coated in coffee or trauma or fear or limitations or binds or past experiences and ideas of what's possible from that little human story. This allows you to connect into a larger framework, a multidimensional framework, a vaster expanse of wisdom and intelligence and creativity and imagination that you can then bring forth into the human self. So as you unravel this mystery, you get to tap into more of that. Now, why does this happen? Well, that's part of the human experience as it's currently set up, is that only so much of the soul comes in. That's what our culture is set up. That's what our bodies in a way are set up and our mind is set up, right? If you came in that full amount of your soul, it would be generally, depending on where you're at, maybe very overwhelming and wild for your parents and your family, right? Only so much is going to come in that's capable of that, works within the matrix, right? If you had a little coffee cup, that's, this one's kind of big here, but if you had a small coffee cup and you had this big old blob of honey coming, it'd just be overloaded, right? It would just kind of go everywhere. It's too much for the current container, right? Maybe in 100 years or a couple 100 years, humanity evolves, we can handle more of that soul. But for the most part, in most areas of the world, only so much can come in and is sort of acceptable or reasonable or workable at the moment. There's definitely souls that are pushing that limit. There's some wonderful children coming in that are very tapped in and connected and maybe expanding that. And, many of the parents don't know how to handle it, right? Doctors don't know how to handle it, right? Schools don't know how to handle it. So it is helping change the system, but it is a lot. And there's even more yet to come in and will continue to do so in the years ahead, I do believe. So I hope this helps you understand this framework, this transference, if you will, of the honey of the soul into the physical experience and how to begin opening that up. So again, I encourage you to go tap into your avatar. You can do that for free over innerrealmsjourney.com and reach out with any questions. Drop a question below. Let me know what your avatar is. And thanks so much for watching. May the magic of all of your soul, of all of your essence, continue to pour down into this physical world, because, my friends, I believe that's what we need here. Thanks so much for watching. Hope you have a magical day. Barak, Dudrak, e Urayanalakir.